to verse 9. Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, such as the United States, Iran, the state of Israel, Russia, China, Australia, NATO, and such. Prepare war, wake up the mighty men, let all the men of war draw near, let them come up. Beat your plowshares into swords, and your pruning hooks into spears, let the weak say I am strong. Verse 11, assemble yourselves and come down, all ye heathen, and gather yourselves together round about. Thither cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Yahweh. And these mighty ones are the angels of the Most High who are holding back that destruction, just waiting for the Most High to give that order to let it loose, as we read in Revelation chapter 9 and 14, saying to the sixth angel, which had the trumpet, loose the four angels which are bound in the great river Euphrates. Verse 12, let the heathen be wakened and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat, or again Yahweh Shaphat, or Yahweh's judgment, for there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about. Salakia. So there's nothing stopping this train from going once the Most High allows it to happen. It's inevitable. And with the U.S. eventually attacking Iran, or say Israel attacks Iran to drag the U.S. into attacking Iran with them, that's going to drag Russia into this war, which we'll read about in Ezekiel chapter 38, verse 2. Ezekiel 38 and 2. Son of man, set thy face against Gog, which is the biblical name of Russia, the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and prophesy against him. And say, thus saith the Lord Yahweh, behold, I am against thee, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, which is speaking of the Most High turning Russia back to that old Soviet Union spirit where they're trying to build empire again and not take shit from anybody, especially the U.S. They're getting those bear claws back. And I will bring thee forth, and all thine army and horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords. Beat thy plowshares into swords and thy pruning hooks into spears. This is speaking of Russia's military hardware that they're going to bring over there, besides what they already have over there. Verse 5, Persia and Ethiopia, Libya with them, all of them with shield and helmet. And as we know, Persia was another name for Iran in the past. Verse 6, Gomer, which is speaking of Turkey and all of his bands, the house of Togarmah of the north quarters and all his bands, and many people with thee. Be thou prepared, and prepare for thyself, thou and all thy company that are assembled unto thee, and be thou a guard unto them, because Russia is going to be a guard unto Iran once this war starts popping off. And again, this is just going to drag in many other countries into this battle of the Valley of Jehoshaphat and just make it that much more destructive. And this is beautiful, Akim. This just shows that we're one step closer to the end of this final captivity and the beginning of our eternal rulership. Now, I got one more article I'm going to go to on activistpost.com titled, Democrats and Republicans unite to hand Trump $717 billion in military spending. With the help of 139 Democrats, the House of Representatives on Thursday easily rammed through the 2019 National Defense Authorization Act, or the NDAA, which, if it passes the Senate, will hand President Donald Trump $717 billion in military spending. So if war wasn't on the horizon, this wouldn't be an issue. Of the total $717 billion, the bill would authorize $616.9 billion for the base Pentagon budget, $21.9 billion for nuclear weapons programs under the Energy Department, and another $69 billion in war spending from the Special Overseas Contingency Operations account, Politico reported following the 359-54 vote. Additionally, the NDAA passed by the House would authorize 13 new Navy warships, approve the Pentagon's request to buy 77 F-35s, and greenlight a new submarine-launched, low-yield nuclear warhead, Politico notes. How are they going to pay for this? Asked one commentator on Twitter. Oh wait, that question only gets asked when it comes to social programs that benefit the working class. The House's passage of the 2019 NDAA comes just days after Trump fired off a hysterical Twitter rant against Iran, warning the nation's leaders in all capital letters to never ever threaten the United States again. What Trump didn't mention is that Iran's so-called threat against the United States came after a Reuters report revealed that the White House, led by Secretary of State Mike Pompeo and National Security Advisor John Bolton, another favorite of mine, has launched a secret effort to foment unrest inside Iran, which critics described as an obvious push for regime change. Amid escalating tensions between the two nations sparked by Trump's ultra-hawkish administration, one of the few tiny bright spots in the NDAA is language that says nothing in this act may be construed to authorize the use of force against Iran, and that means nothing. That's a moot point, because this war is inevitable. Not only are the elites pushing for this war, but first and foremost, it's all through the will of Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahweh Shai. It's a major part of prophecy. This is just to try to quell the feelings of you average peons out there. This explanatory statement was included thanks to an amendments pushed by Representative Keith Ellison and passed unanimously by the House. I'm grateful to see Congress's top defense legislators go on record and agree that President Trump does not have an authorization to use military force against Iran. Given Trump's recent irresponsible all-caps tweet threatening Iran, it's critical to know that he has no legal authority to use military force without explicit approval from Congress, Ellison said in a statement on Thursday, and Congress is just a puppet for the elites, so you don't get your hopes up that there's not going to be a war. So as you can see, war is on the horizon, and to you sincere Akim out there, we should pray that it happens as soon as possible. And also tonight there's going to be that lunar blood moon eclipse, which, as we know in the scriptures, the signs in the heavens are just an indication that major things are about to take place, so we can see this perfect storm brewing. The elder brother Kazak over at the Mississippi camp did a video on it that, if I remember to, I'll put a link to it in the description. So with this video, I hope you sincere Akim were edified. Abba Babal, Kwam Yasharala, and until next time, Shalom.